Okay, let's dive in. Have you ever, really put your hopes in someone's promise? Pinned everything on it?
Oh, absolutely. And then, poof, they're not there when crunch time comes.
Exactly. And you're left standing there alone. It's that gut-wrenching feeling we want to talk about today.
Right, we're digging into self-reliance, drawing a lot from a speech by Jim Rohn. He has some really powerful insights on this.
Yeah, he did. So our mission really is to pull out those key ideas about personal empowerment, self-sufficiency.
And kind of give you a shortcut to understanding them and maybe help you tap into your own strength.
Because ultimately, Ron suggests the most reliable place to build is, well, within yourself.
In the chambers of our own heart, as he put it, and the recesses of our own mind. Beautiful phrasing.
It really is. But important point, this isn't about, going it completely alone, is it?
No, not at all. It's more a shift from depending on others to becoming resourceful yourself.
Like holding the key to their own shackles, taking charge of your own limits.
And navigating with that internal compass of self-belief.
Isn't that a world worth striving for, that kind of inner freedom?
It definitely resonates. And often that path starts by acknowledging that feeling we mentioned, leaning on someone, and then wobble.
Yeah, the rug pull. And it's not always malice, right? Sometimes it's just life happens. Things change.
Exactly. Circumstances shift, support systems fade. It's just the unpredictable nature of things.
We've all chased that knot of approval, haven't we? Or wanted that chorus of support behind us.
But Ron points out, those external things, they can be temporary. They fade.
And it's in that quiet, maybe, when the external noise dies down?
That's when you might hear it. What Ron called a whisper that grew into a roar.
Which is,
The strength you seek from others has always been within you. That realization.
wow. That's the turning point, isn't it?
It's huge. It's the first real step toward empowerment, according to Ron.
The moment you stop just, wishing and start being the architect of their own destiny.
Or the sculptor of their own masterpiece.
Wow.
Taking the chisel into your own hands.
Recognizing that, yeah, advice is great, but the real power to shake your life, it's internal.
And getting there often means letting go, doesn't it?
Letting go of what, specifically?
External expectations, maybe. That fear of, being alone with your thoughts.
And instead, embracing what the speech calls the empowering solitude of self, which sounds a bit scary initially.
It can. But Ron suggests that's where you find the good stuff.
The wellspring of courage, creativity, and boundless potential.
Exactly. That internal reservoir you draw from to face challenges, pursue goals.
So the big question Ron is implicitly asking is, are you ready to be that pillar? The one your dreams stand on?
That's the core of it. Self-reliance isn't about isolation. It's about walking tall, knowing you have that inner strength.
And Ron uses this image, standing at the edge of a huge ocean.
Yeah, and realizing there's this massive untapped power inside you. It really makes you think about potential.
It does. And he reminds us the story of human triumph. It's ancient.
It's not just superheroes. It's ordinary people facing life's storms.
And finding something extraordinary within themselves.
Right. They weather it and often come out stronger.
Which makes you reflect personally, doesn't it? Think back when you faced something that felt impossible.
How did you do it? What did you draw on?
Often it was something inside, maybe something you didn't even know was there until you needed it.
Exactly. And Ron stresses this inner strength. It's not fixed. You're not born with a set amount.
Ah, okay. So it's dynamic.
Yeah, it grows like a muscle. It gets stronger with every challenge faced, with every fear confronted.
So how do we actively build this muscle? Where do we start?
Ron says the first step is just realization, acknowledging it's even there.
Noticing those times you got back up after being knocked down.
Exactly. Or that quiet determination you feel for a goal others think is crazy. That's the seed.
Okay, so realization first. Then what? How do you cultivate it?
Well, Ron emphasizes patience and persistence. It's not instant.
Right, and involves pushing your comfort zone a bit.
Definitely. Stepping into things that feel a little daunting. That's where the growth happens.
Embracing failure. That's tough for a lot of people.
Crucial, though. Seeing it not as an end, but as a stepping stone to greatness. Ron often mentioned the discipline of repeated effort. Keep trying.
I love his analogies. The oak tree fighting the wind.
And getting stronger roots because of it, or diamonds formed under pressure.
It really paints a picture of adversity forging strength.
It does. And another key piece he highlights is vision.
Having a clear picture of where you're going.
Exactly. It's your compass. Especially when things get dark, he'd say, hold on to that vision with unwavering faith. Detail it. Revisit it.
Make it real in your mind.
Precisely.
Yeah.
You don't have to build this strength entirely alone.
Right.
Ron also talks about support.
Yeah, surrounding yourself with people who lift you up, who see your potential.
Your cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Your support system. Absolutely vital.
And also listening to yourself, that inner voice.
Yes. That whisper of your soul in the quiet moments, away from the noise. That's where a lot of clarity and power lies.
So the big takeaway here is that this inner strength, it's always available, an inexhaustible source.
That's the core message. Power, wisdom, courage. It's in there, ready to be tapped.
Okay, so if inner strength is the foundation, what's built on top of it?
Well, building right on that is the power of belief in yourself. Ron calls this the bedrock of every triumph.
The anthem of victory. I like that. That fundamental sense of I can.
Exactly. And he points to history, right? People who changed the world.
Not because they weren't scared or didn't fail.
But because they had that unshakable self-belief that carried them through.
And this belief, it's not just wishing.
No, Ron clarifies it's earned. It's woven into the fabric of our souls, through our dreams, our challenges overcome, the resilience we build.
So in a way, believing in yourself is kind of an act of rebellion.
Yeah, Ron frames it like that. Rebellion against self-doubt, against external limits.
A declaration of independence from anyone who ever said you're not enough.
Exactly. And he gives practical steps to nurture it.
Like what?
Looking inward. Acknowledging your wins, even small ones. Seeing them as proof you can do things.
Okay. And changing your mindset about challenges.
Yes. Seeing opportunity in adversity, lessons in failure, and again, surrounding yourself with believers. Creating that positive echo chamber.
Makes sense. Build evidence for yourself. Shift your perspective. Get good people around you.
And remember, Ron says it's a marathon, not a sprint. Building self-belief takes time.
Each step, each barrier broken, it adds a layer.
Precisely. Which leads Ron to ask those challenging questions.
What dreams are you holding back? What goals seem too far-fetched? Makes you really think about your own self-imposed ceilings.
And his powerful conclusion on this is, the only thing standing between you and your potential is the belief you harbor about what you can achieve.
Wow. Puts the power and the responsibility right back in your lap.
Completely. He says self-belief turns dreams into projects, obstacles into opportunities. It lifts you when you fall.
It's that compass of self-belief guiding you, with inner strength as the anchor in the storm.
Yeah. Now, while that self-reliance is key, Ron also acknowledges the role of support. It adds, color and depth.
But he makes a distinction, right? Not just any support system.
Exactly. It needs to be one that empowers you, helps you reach higher.
So building a network of people who reflect possibility, who genuinely believe in you.
Yes. People who ignite your potential. Ron paints this picture of being surrounded by architects of encouragement, builders of hope.
And custodians of your dreams. That's powerful. People who guard your aspirations.
And those small things, encouraging words, supportive gestures, they can be like the wind beneath our wings.
Giving you that lift when you need it. So how do you build that kind of system?
Well, Ron's first piece of advice is interesting. Start with yourself.
Be the support you want to see.
Exactly. Be the beacon of support and encouragement you seek. You attract what you are. It starts the circle of empowerment.
And be selective about who you let in.
Yeah, seek out people who challenge you, who push you to grow, but also celebrate your wins, big or small.
And the foundation is mutual respect, understanding.
And that unwavering belief in each other's capabilities.
Right.
Creating a space where it's safe to be vulnerable because that's seen as shared strength.
These aren't just passive contacts then. They need nurturing.
Absolutely. Invest time and energy. Ron says these relationships are like mirrors, reflecting your potential when you doubt yourself.
Okay, this feels like a good moment. If you, listening, are getting value from this deep dive, exploring self-reliance, building these connections, we'd love for you to check out more on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, please do subscribe, stay updated, join the community there. We explore topics like this in more depth.
Because, as Ron points out, this empowering support system, it's more than just a safety net.
It's a launch pad for our highest aspirations, where everyone's light helps illuminate the path for everyone else.
Really makes you think about your current circle. Who's in it? How can you expand it? And how can you be that launch pad for someone else?
It unlocks so much potential, individually and collectively.
Okay, so we have inner strength, self-belief, an empowering support system. But life still throws curveballs, right? Setbacks happen.
Guaranteed. But Ron reframes them beautifully. Not as flaws, but as unique patterns adding depth to the masterpiece of your life.
So the question isn't if they'll happen, but how you navigate them, how you turn them into stepping stones.
Exactly. Facing adversity, even when the wind of challenges is howling, and remembering that resilience you have within.
Acknowledging life isn't a straight line, it's hills and valleys.
And the valleys, that's often where the real growth happens.
So the key is to embrace setbacks, not as endings, but as new beginnings.
Yes. And foster resilience by shifting perspective. See them as chances to learn, evolve, and crucially, hold on to hope even when it feels distant.
Rohn reminds us, every great story has trials, doubts, despair.
But overcoming them is what adds the beauty and depth. Back to the diamonds under pressure, the trees against the wind.
That resilience, it's not just something you have, it's something you do.
Exactly. Ron calls it a daily practice. A conscious choice. Determination, courage, faith in yourself, belief in the journey.
And leaning on those supportive relationships again.
Absolutely. Surrounding yourself with people who uplift you, remind you of your strength, it's a constant theme.
So navigate the storms with faith and resilience. See setbacks as lessons, obstacles as challenges to meet with courage.
It's not about not feeling fear or doubt. It's about moving forward despite them. That's the defining thing.
So when challenges hit, the advice is pause, breathe, look inward.
Remember that power you have to rise above, transform adversity, navigate with grace.
Okay, shifting gears slightly. Ron then talks about how we actually live day to day. He has this great line.
The non-refundable ticket.
Yes, to the greatest show on earth, your life. That really lands, doesn't it? Makes you think about how you're spending that ticket.
It really does. Are you just letting the show happen, or are you participating? Could you live differently? See each sunrise as a chance to rewrite the story.
Because Ron says, yeah, we all have a role in this grand theater of existence.
But you're also the playwright. You can script your destiny. Change the plot if it's not working for you.
It comes down to a conscious decision then. To live intentionally, be the architect.
Instead of just reacting. And he brings it back to overcoming challenges. Remember that feeling of uncertainty.
And then that surge of strength when you push through, that feeling is growth.
Exactly. Our biggest lessons often come wrapped in adversity. Every setback is potentially a setup for a comeback.
And shaping your destiny isn't about grand gestures necessarily.
More often, Ron suggests, it's in the quiet moments of perseverance, committing to goals when things are uncertain, embracing the discomfort of growth.
The cocoon before the butterfly.
Precisely. And then he paints this picture. Imagine a world where everyone gets their own power.
And uses it to lift each other up. Celebrating collective success.
And he says, that's not some fantasy utopia. It's possible. It starts with our individual choices.
Which leads to those really deep questions he poses at the end.
What legacy do we wish to leave behind? How do we want to be remembered?
Not for stuff, but for the impact. The lives touched.
Yeah, living with purpose, making every moment count.
And that final metaphor, so vivid. Life is a canvas, and you hold the brush.
Go create a masterpiece. Paint a picture so vivid that it inspires others.
It's a call to own your journey. Make choices, take chances.
Embark with hope, an open mind, and that unbreakable resolve to write a story that matters. A testament to the human spirit.
Wow. Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. We've covered a lot from Ron's speech.
We really have. The core, I think, is that profound power of self-reliance. Knowing your main support comes from within.
And then actively developing that inner strength through challenges. Recognizing the huge role of self-belief.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And alongside that, intentionally building those empowering support systems, not just any connections.
Right. And learning to navigate setbacks with resilience, seeing them as growth opportunities.
And finally, living intentionally, taking the reins, shaping your own destiny.
The big thread running through it all seems to be the power is already inside you. The answers, the strength, it's within.
That's the fundamental message from Ron, I believe. It's all accessible within you.
So a final thought to leave everyone with, building on this. What if you took radical responsibility for your life? Everything.
Complete ownership. What potential might that unlock? Things you haven't even considered.
Yeah. And maybe just ask yourself, what's one small thing, one concrete step you can take today towards greater self-reliance? Just one.
A powerful question to ponder.
Indeed. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive.